enlightenment of change on webtalkradio.net. I'm your host, Connie Whitman. You know I'm loving that you're here this week. Now, to help you change your perspective or to help you with change, whatever that means in your life, whether it's personal or professional, I hope between my guests and my guest today, Joshua, I hope we share some cool tips or ideas or strategies that you have those aha moments and apply them to your life. And my hope is that you apply them immediately after listening to the show. Now, if you're loving the show, please go to Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen, and rate and review and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And of course, sharing is caring. So share with your peeps and get them part of our community as well. Now, my motivational quote to set the stage for my guest and our conversation is by Henry Ford. And Henry says, stopping advertising to save money is like stopping your watch to save time. Wow. To me, this is such an essential quote from Henry Ford. You know, if we stop promoting our business to the world, we stop growing. And this quote really hit home for me because when COVID hit, like many, and I know like many of you, right, I had a zero income. And the scarier part was I had no idea what was going to happen to my business of 19 years. And, you know, guys, it was scary time. So back in March 2020, I was faced with this exact situation that the quote speaks to. And I knew I had so many blind spots relating to this whole new digital world that was opening exponentially. So with no income coming in and using our savings, which went rapid fire, I spent tens of thousands of dollars to educate myself on what are those potential next steps that I need to take for my business and my new business model. Now, spending that made me, I'm going to be honest, it made me physically nauseous, but I knew I needed to move forward for personal and professional growth. So if any of this is sounding familiar to you, you're going to love the conversation today. My guest is Joshua T. Berglan. And Joshua and we're going to discuss why media is essential to continuing for you to build momentum for business growth and which media platforms to choose. So we're going to do a little bit of defining here as well. Now, Joshua is the creator of the new media company in a box. He's also a producer, media missionary. We'll talk about that. International best-selling author and award-winning filmmaker, driven to elevate the passion, purpose, and mission of those that he's blessed to serve. So please help me welcome my amazing friend Joshua to the show. So Josh, thanks for being on.
It's always good to see you. I love every conversation we've ever had, and I'm excited for this one.
Now, I saw you writing things down as I was doing my intro. So curious, what was it, the quote that you thought, whoa, I need something, I have to say something about? I'm just curious. Or do you want to just have a conversation and you'll bring your notes into it? I could go either way.
Actually, all I did was move my notepad towards me if I needed to write something down. Because I'm not a note taker and I take notes on things that I read, but I just felt for some reason I needed to grab my notepad just in case, because every conversation we have is so insightful. I don't want to miss anything. And you offer so much value that I would just be silly to not write something down and forget it. I don't want to forget it.
You're so darn cute. So first lesson here in sales, people, right? And just helping other humans in life, whatever your mission is out there. Noticed I watched his body language as I was doing my intro and I was looking at the camera, but my peripheral vision, and I thought he wants to say something. Let me honor that. That's how we dig in and hear what our clients really need. They have to be seen and heard. And that was just such a real example. And we did not plan that, Joshua. We did not.
No, it was not planned. In fact, it's very interesting. I've seen all of these synchronicities happen in the world lately, and being heard is a very common theme that I'm hearing about. I do some work. I'm helping produce a film believe it or not, it's about the family court system and a nonprofit that is really trying to eradicate family court to provide solution. And a big mantra or part of their mission is making sure people are heard so they feel validated, so that actual real, fixing relationships, repairing relationships, real growth, not putting a Band-Aid on it crap, like real solutions. And we had a meeting yesterday and I just like that synchronicity, I heard it again today. Now this is the second time I've heard it today. So there's something about that right now. And to me, that's such a microcosm for the world that we're in now, and also part of our mission. And, you know, voices for the voiceless, being a voice for the voiceless and elevating other voices for the voiceless is such a big part of what we do. And essentially it's because people aren't heard, and they don't feel heard. They don't feel respected. They don't feel validated. So it's coming out like a bunch of crazy people. And we have all of these extreme movements that are, you know, of course they're well-funded and pushed, but at the same time, there's real angst there, because there's a huge demographic. And we talked about this on my broadcast a couple of days ago. There's this huge demographic of people that have had their voices silenced and removed from them. Yeah. You've got battered women, you've got abused kids, you've got African Americans, you've got people from Jerusalem and all in Palestine and all over the world that just want to be heard. And so I love that that's how this started, because that to me is that is the core of our mission. And why?
You know, and like, yeah. And, you know, one of my zones of genius is just communication, right? I have my communication style assessment. But here's the thing, Joshua, unfortunately, humans have a 6-second attention span. So really, when we have conversations, whether it's at home or at work, we're talking at each other. And literally, well, subconsciously, this is literally what happens, where I'm like, well, when Joshua stops talking, I'm going to say, and then when I stop talking, Joshua's the whole time, we're not really listening to each other. And I'll really share with you, being in sales obviously helped me develop my listening skills, because I come from a place of love, care, and respect. So whoever my client is in front of me, I really listen, because I want to serve them at the best level, whatever I have available, whether it's me or my network. So that's part one to it. Part two, doing this show. And then several years ago, my producer said, you need to do video. I went, I'm not doing video. She's like, you need to do video. I go, it's too much pressure. You need to do video, because as my guest was speaking, I'm a note taker. I would take notes and think, well, that's a good follow-up question. Well, when you do video, I can't be looking away and writing things down. I want to be very present. That has helped me enhance my listening skills exponentially, because I really have to be present and hear what my guest in this case is saying. But we are not heard. We are not seen out there. We have these superficial kind of conversations that aren't really meaningful. And that's just not how I want to live my life. Like you and I, every time we talk, we walk away with an idea, or, oh, he said that, let me try that. Or I said something during the conference that we were both, I was a mentor, you were one of the participants, and you were like, you said something and I responded, and you were like, you're right, I have to start doing that. So you feel like you're adding value, but if I didn't hear it in the first place, or I didn't feel you, I wouldn't have the right answer or be able to help you, right?
That's right. It's absolutely right.
Yeah, I love it. All right. So before we start, let's talk about media. Can you help us define like media, number one, what is it? And then how should we be using that to leverage, whether it's our business career, if I'm a corporate, you have division heads, how can we use that media to show off the cool things that we're doing? But define media first, because I think that's a big topic.
Well, I kind of have my own definition.
Yeah,
I'm anti the current media establishment, and I'm all for independent media. And the part of this why is because going back to being heard, elevating voices. And there's only one way to do that. Media controls the narrative, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
It's an agenda. It's a well-funded agenda. And for me, any of the traditional language I don't use. I'm self-taught. I learned through volunteering and serving. And so the way that I started to piece it all together was literally being on set one day. And I was shooting the Super Bowl commercial like 3 years ago. I was Brian Urlacher's body double.
I love it.
I'm sitting around at craft services and I'm looking around and I'm saying to myself, all of these businesses are here to support this commercial. It was like 15 trucks or something like that. And I'm like, well, what would happen if I became the center of the universe? Like, what would happen if I could provide value to all of these businesses? How would I do that? And then I started to think all of the different jobs that this commercial was providing for. I was like, what if I could do that? Because that almost reverses this business-like structure that we're in now. It's like flipping the pyramid upside down, I guess, is a
I
way
love
to
it.
say it.
Yeah.
Uh, and so that's how the lens that I saw it through. And so it was really more about providing value. And at the same time, also finding a way to equalize the playing field. So it was all from a service mindset, really, and seeing all of these people having their voices suppressed. I mean, look, I know what it's like to raise millions of dollars for a film and not get paid, even with a contract. There's a reason why the contracts are freaking 9,000 pages sometimes, is because no one's reading it and you got to have a lot of money to fight. And so I didn't like any of that stuff. So I looked at media as a weapon, but a weapon for good. So my definition of media is just utilizing all that's available. So you think about billboards, right? Well, billboards are powerful. Well, online is a powerful billboard. It can be. You have all of the video, audio, and print options, books, seminars. You have courses. I mean, you have all of these different tools available to you. And believe it or not, most of those things that you can do with media, you only need one piece of content for it. And that's a miracle. And so there's no excuse to say, I don't have enough money to participate in media. There's no excuse because there's so many free options for you.
Yeah.
So essentially, I don't really have a pure definition for it, except for the fact that it's a vehicle to help our dreams come true. And more importantly, because we're moving into a different world where it is going to be absolutely necessary to have 8, 9, 10, even 11, 12 revenue streams, because relying on one thing now, just being an actor, look, because everyone has a screen, everyone can record, anyone can act. Just like people joke about Instagram models, like anybody can be a model. Like, you're on Instagram, I'm a model. Like, are you really? Like, are you? But that's what technology has done. So it's taken that superiority of being an actor, of being a producer, of being a filmmaker. It's taken that and it's like leveled it all out.
Yeah.
Because you can put films on social media, you can put it on free, like YouTube, you can self-host like I do. Like, all of this stuff is available. So it's available for the masses. So it's not so much that, hey, I want to be a big shot filmmaker. It's just that, no, out of necessity, I need to use these tools to be able to make my dreams come true. A, B, provide for my family. And C, I don't want to settle for universal income. I don't want that. I want to have a life for myself and I want to have freedom. Media is freedom. And so all of this is out of necessity. It's a tool. And I promise you this, media is not going to feel so cool here soon, because it's going to be just like being online. Like, the internet right now is a necessity for most of our businesses. In fact, I would say that 99% at this point.
Yeah.
The way that we use our phone apps to speak and do business internationally, like we need the internet, right? Well, media is going to be the internet. Like, that is where we're going. So it's not me telling everybody that they're going to be ABC or Disney. Those days are like going to go away. Like, there's a book that I'm reading called I just brain farted on the name. It's so bad. But there's a quote in it that it says, in the future, and this book was written in the 70s, and it says, in the future, the power that lies in the hands of a few, which is like your CNN, ABCs, those groups, Disney's, will be distributed to the masses. So the power structure that we have now is crumbled, and it's crumbling. They're on paid ad airtime right now.
Yeah.
This is going to be redistributed into the hands of all of us, and we will all be media organizations. That's where we're going. And that's why for the last 3 years, I've been screaming about this so loud to anyone who'd listen. And of course, people thought I was insane. And now, just 3 months ago, the president even said, if you do not know these skills, you will be left behind. And that's why we teach this.
It's true. And it's funny, a couple of things. When I started my second podcast, and I had a business coach with everything with COVID, right? I had to hire a business coach who was this digital expert. I didn't know what I was doing. I was truly a fish out of water. And it's just, as a side note, I remember going up as I was taking all these classes, Josh, when I remember one night I went upstairs and I looked at my husband, goes, "What's the matter?" I must have been very distraught. And I said, I don't know how I've been in business 19 years. I think I'm really stupid. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, how do I do this? So, right, because it was a huge blind spot, I didn't need to step into this digital world because I had done everything live and the world changed. And so I agree with that statement of, if we do not understand the value and the power, and hopefully power for good, right, that our voice has on these media platforms, I think we're going to be left behind. I agree with that. And here's the other thing too, Joshua, you're much younger than me, but I'm 61, and anybody goes, oh, I'm too old. Nonsense. You could choose not to do it, but that's a choice. And no judgment. That's cool. But don't say you're too old to learn, because there's so much information. There's so many resources that's no excuse. The other thing I wanted to say, this coach, and he said, you have to start thinking about your podcast as if you're a media company. And he said, and as soon as you start thinking that and making decisions, not just on your little show, but what is that impact that it could be out in the world as a resource, whatever, but you're a media company. And the other thing I wanted to comment on is the company that I use for my show, Web Talk Radio. We're now going to be on Roku. So I'm going to have, I have my own YouTube channel, which is great. But now I'm going to actually have my own Roku channel, right? And Alexa, you can listen to my shows on Alexa already. So all of these platforms are starting to connect together. And it's not, and you said it before too, Joshua, I wanted to re-comment. You don't have to create new content over and over and over again. My shows can now be, if somebody wants to watch them at night on Roku, they'll have it's not live yet, but we're going to get there, right? These are the things that we're talking about. But if you bury your head and you're an ostrich, oh, that's not for me, you're going to be left behind. Quickly, you're going to become irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I've even shifted. Every time I start down a path, I shift again and I start over, because at my core, I believe that self-hosting, owning my content, owning my license, not sharing my money, not sharing any of that stuff, was a foolish thing to do. Or no, I said that wrong. What I'm saying is, I believe in owning it all. Everything I promote, everything I talk about, I own, or I'm part owner of. So that means my content, my likeness, all of that. I learned that from Master P. I don't know if I told you this story. Did I tell you the story?
No.
Okay, so I've had some weird, fun gigs in my life. One of the things that I did in college was my first taste of working in the entertainment world was being a backup dancer for Little Romeo. And he did a remake of, was it MC Rob Bass? It Takes Two to Make a Thing Go Right. That song. So Little Romeo did a song and did a remake of that. And I was a backup dancer in that video. So I got to meet Master P and the whole No Limit crew. And I thought that I was going to smoke marijuana with Master P. And instead he gave me business advice. And Master P, if you've ever listened to his story, what he's really known for, he was one of the first people, if not the first, to say, I'm not going to do a record deal. I'm going to own my own. I'm going to distribute my own content. I'll do licensing deals, but I own it. I own my likeness. I'm not promoting anything I don't own. That's the advice he gave me when I was 20 years old.
Wow.
And at the time, I wasn't thinking media. I wanted to be a talk show host, but I didn't see that happening because I had been in business and I'd worked with complex disabilities for 18 years before I fell into entertainment and skincare and all that stuff in that world. But that advice stuck with me. And then when Nipsey Hussle came back around, Nipsey Hussle was doing the same thing. And that stuck out to me. And then Oprah did it when she started her own network. All of that had a huge impact on me. You know what? I'm not starting from the place that they did when they started their own program, but there's something very gratifying about building something from the ground up. So I had my own network on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, had my own podcast network. I did all that through our nonprofit. And it was great. But to be honest with you, it was way more gratifying now that I'm hosting my own content, because I get to keep all the money that I make, plus all my other services are centralized with Media Company in a Box. And now I own all of it. I'm not sharing it. And then more importantly, because a lot of the subject matter I talk about gets censored. I've been kicked off of every social media platform. So now I have that freedom to share my truth and also to be fearless about it. And I'm in control of my own destiny. And now the best part about this is what I love the most is the way that Media Company in a Box has allowed me to set up my business is that everywhere I go, I'm in business. I don't have to market. I don't have to do, I mean, I market through my broadcast, but I don't have to live the way that other people do when they're working for someone or they're selling something. Everywhere I go, I'm selling myself by just being myself.
Absolutely.
If you find me interesting, you can check out my website, and it's everything I do is there. I don't need to go to a long dissertation. So I've simplified my life by literally centralizing all of my intellectual property in one place. And now the only thing I have to focus on is just being the best I can be every day, and also being entertaining, which I hope I do naturally, because I always want to be authentic about that. Sure. But, you know, I'm a shock jock at heart. I grew up listening to Opie and Anthony and Howard Stern and Don Imus and all those guys. Like, that's what I grew up wanting to be in an Oprah, but a shocking Oprah. I never thought it would be what it looks like now, but I'm so grateful for that. So, like, while my aspirations as an entertainer and wanting to remake the Tonight Show and have a traveling Tonight Show where we work in communities for 2 weeks at a time and serve and, like, you know, implement our program, our media program, while we do all that, like, I want to do all those things. Like, I have those aspirations, but at the heart of all of it is service. And that is what drives me, because I know people like myself, like, I can't, media was a necessity for me. I don't know, I've shared this with you before, but, you know, I've got a criminal record. I've been in jail 6 times. My book, The Devil Inside Me, is like a very, very true, authentic, ugly look at my life before God got a hold of me. And but at the same time, like, I can't go apply at a media company and get a job. I'm really good at what I do. I've been very, very blessed to have the gift to be able to see how all this works before it even happened. And so I'm also grateful for that, because media was the only way that I could provide for my family and make a life for myself, because I needed those additional revenue streams, but I also needed that outlet, because my talk show was my therapy. Learning to tell the truth publicly about all the bad stuff I did helped me build my confidence, also helped hold me accountable, also helped me get very, very comfortable with truth. When I was a chronic liar, I was a very nasty person. And so media became art for me. It became therapy for me. And it also became a way for me to provide a life for myself and hopefully leave a very powerful legacy for my family.
Yeah. And I want to break that down, because Joshua just said a lot in there, but I want you to take these nuggets, you know, through what he said. Notice that the control, I think, is really important. And I think that we give up control because we're uncertain of something. We give up control thinking, well, they know better than me. Your business, your career, your life, no one knows better than you. So that's number one. The other thing, the control, right? And you said have multiple revenue streams. You know, back in my day when I was a financial advisor, I used to say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Same concept. When we talk about our income, we really should, you want to have multiple streams of income, so that even if one of your verticals ends up having a bad year, you still have the income and you could still live your life and pay your bills and all those things. So that was the second thing I thought that was real important. The third thing, notice that it's not about the money for Joshua. It is, right? Because he wants to live a great life. He wants freedom, all these things. Notice that everything he said, the more he makes, the more he creates, the more he can support others, right? It's that place of service. The more money we make, the more of service we can be. And I find so many business owners, Joshua, who they feel like, well, if I charge for that, like, that's a bad thing. If you have a zone of genius that someone else doesn't and they need you, you should charge for that. And it's a gift that you're giving them. And by the reciprocity, right? The law of reciprocity is that you're getting payment for sharing your zone of genius that they don't have and that they need to accomplish fill in the blank, whatever it might be. So when people say, well, I can't charge for that, why not? And here's the more important piece of that. It's not about hoarding your money so that you can, treat people like crap and go and live this, lavish royal life. It's about the more we make, the more you get to give, the more you get to support, advocate for the people who cannot advocate for themselves, children who are abused. But you need money to be able to, time too. Don't get me wrong. But if I'm making money over here and I have more time over here, I could give back charitably to those causes that mean something to me. So I really want you to hear everything Joshua said, right? And you're accomplishing all of this through media. And the last thing I wanted to say was the media. Notice now everything is streaming. So it used to be you had cable, whatever, Comcast or whatever's by you, Fios. Now you have to have Apple TV, you have to have Disney TV, you have to have HBO Max. So we have all of these streaming services. You think this is by accident? These media companies understand that people want choices. And so now you can get rid of some of the cable costs, but now you're paying for the streaming, right? So again, we have to honor where people are and deliver the resources that they need. And you do that really well. And my next question, so this all goes to my next question, Joshua. Understanding all of that, when you meet with one of your clients, you kind of sit back, you listen, you hear, you see, right? You see them and hear them and who they are and what they're trying to accomplish in their world. How do you, and let me back up. Do you customize your solutions based on who's in front of you so that you can, take from here, take from there and put this package together for what Connie Whitman needs in her business or what Joshua needs for his business? So talk to that for me, because I really want people to understand what you can do for them if they need help with, in this case, media.
I look for solutions, I look for need, and I look for vision and goals. I don't come in with look, there's basic foundational pieces that
of course
with everyone. And there's always a better way to do what we're already doing. That's part of it. That said, everything is customized because everyone has a different level of knowledge when it comes to media. Some people just have perceptions, but we all know some basic media. In fact, what happens is some people realize they know more than they actually thought they did.
Yeah.
And so for me to come in and say, this is how you're doing it, it doesn't work that way. I come in with everyone I work with and I go, you have your basically free option, you have your mid-range option, and then you have your go for the fences option. I learned again, I didn't have any money. I learned everything through serving and volunteering and just trying things and experimenting with my own strategy. And then I've got this all nailed down. So that's why it took so long to develop Media Company in a Box. But every single bit of it is customized because, again, we're coming from all different walks of life. We are all not the same. Our goals may look the same, but when you really, really break it down, it's not. And so it is customized. It is literally, I told you I wasn't going to share this because I don't talk about it publicly. So I apologize for lying. It sounds crazy when I say it, but I would be dishonest if I didn't say it. And that is, that sounded like a contradiction. It sounds so crazy when I say it out loud, but I'm going to say it anyway, because I wouldn't be here without God. I rely solely on God for the visions, the downloads, the inspiration, whatever it may be. And so when you're sharing with me your goals, and you're sharing with me your needs and your passion and your desire and what you see for yourself, I need that download to be able to say, here's your strategy. These are the steps to get there. And this is how it works. These are the pieces that you need. And the strategy or the order that we should go in to be able to present that. If I don't get a download, honestly, the best I can do is say, all right, here's some of the basic principles that you need to know. I'm not gonna charge you. But that's why I always do like a free assessment call.
Yes.
Is it's always in those calls when I'm face to face that I get it. I don't get them later. I get them right then. Like if I see it, I see it. And then if I don't, I don't. And that's how I work. So I will tell somebody, I'll just give them the parting gift for free. Like, here, you take this, use it, and that's what it is. But then if I get the download and I can see it, and I can lay out the plan for them. It's like the battle plan, the war plan, wherever you want to describe it. Like if I get that, then I'm very, very confident that this is what is meant for you. Some people, and this is kind of weird, but my gifting, like we're all born with gifts. We're all born with something. And then how you nurture it, you can use your gifts for evil. For most of my life, I used my gift for evil because I can see things. And that sounds nuts. But again, it's like, I don't know how that happens, but you can see, or just like I don't know how to explain it. Like I'm still trying to wrap my head around how this works, but I used it for all the wrong reasons for most of my life.
Yeah.
And when I turned my life around, why I was so determined to just give it away is because I did so much damage and so much bad before that I wanted to do good with it. And so for 6 years, all I did was serve and just give everything away, give everything away, give everything away. I learned a lot from that experience.
Yeah.
One, that it feels good to give.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
it doesn't feel good to be taken advantage of, not taken serious.
Yes.
It doesn't feel good to have people not value what you're teaching because you're
Yeah.
giving gold. And, I'm drawn to the misfits and outcasts. Those are all the people I want to help. Former trafficking victims, abuse victims, that's who I want to help. Third world countries, inner cities, that's my heart. At the same time, I had to learn that, I don't have to keep apologizing for what the stuff I've done. I've served my time.
Absolutely.
And now I have value to offer the world, and the message I'm delivering, you need to listen to, because what I'm saying and what I've been saying for 3 years publicly is all come true and is coming true, especially with this media piece. So yes, I charge now. I'm in business now, but I also have a buy one, give one program. And why is that? Because I can't solve this problem by myself. I can't be the only one preaching this message. So if I can show you that I can add, and if I can show you how to add with what you are already doing now, 8 new revenue streams, would you not want to work with me? If I can provide that for you and show you how to do it, you would want to work with me. Okay, that's great, because now you're going to be set up and you've got your own journey with what I teach. But for me to have the impact that I am called to have as the world's mayor, dadgummit, I get to help people pay this forward too. Yeah. So it's not going to be me donating it. I'm going to empower you to give and pay this forward, because when you see how this will change your life and change your business and change your family's life, because here's the thing, what I'm teaching also allows you to have a family and the freedom of that. And it's awesome. Like my whole family is incorporated in what I do because of this. I'm not working for someone else. I'm not doing any of that. If my kids come down here and join the broadcast, it may happen, but guess what? That's part of it. And it's fun because I get to make my own rules. Yeah. So I want to empower people to give. And I also want to create such a ripple effect that all of the voices have voices.
And I met Josh. No, I know exactly what you're saying. And, we met a couple of weeks ago at an event. Again, I was a mentor. He was one of the participants. And you said that. You said, I hate charging, right? And like, right when I looked at him, I'm like, dude, cut that crap out. And it's funny because I think it was shortly after that or just before the event, Joshua created this media in a box, and that it's that buy one, get one. And see, these are the things, these are the choices that I think as business owners, even corporate, can make is, you know what? I can make my revenue stream here, but holy crap, I have this built. I could give that away. I don't need that income, but somebody else that needs it. And oh, by the way, I'm your client. I could give it to who I think, right? So that's how we become a community of giving and a community of rising, right? The tide rises and the ships rise together, right? We become a community of that. I think that's the critical piece of the puzzle. So making money is a beautiful thing, and we should honor that and love it. You should love money, because the flip side to that, though, is holy crap, what impact can I make out there? That ripple effect by empowering others. So what you're doing, I think, is important. And here's the last thing, because we are out of time, Joshua.
Oh,
but
really? Jeez,
yes, it goes so fast. I know these shows,
Wow.
maybe not for the listeners, I don't know, but I always think I have so many more questions I have. Here's the thing. I think that the way your business model is set up of getting and then like it's almost like a revolving door, whoop, and it's right back out with that second piece, and that you're trying to build that community of giving. It's part of your business model. It really speaks to who you are. And then people who are uncertain of the media piece of it, it's your zone of genius. You can do it, right? Like, yeah, this is my zone of genius. If you need help, I'm here for you. But the second piece, I think the people that resonate with you are the ones that go, "Oh, I love that model of buy one, get one. And I get to choose who I want to gift that to." Like what?
Give one, not get one.
Give one, buy one, give one. That, yeah, see, Freudian slip. Buy one, give one, that giving component. I think people are listening saying, you know what, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with my media stuff. I like this dude, and holy smokeroonies, I could give this away and help someone else and pay it forward. It feels good. I think when we're making money to give that money away, again, affordably so, where we can make an impact. So dude, you know, I love you. Here's the deal. He's in my life. I'm lucky enough that my guests become part of my family and friends. So you know what? There you go. But you can have him as part. Wait, there's more, right? You could have Josh in your life. So if truly, if you are intrigued, please reach out, Joshua at joshuaberglan.com. I will put that in the show notes.
No. Joshua at Joshua T.
I have that in my notes. Thank you, my friend. Joshua T. Berglan.com. It'll be in the show notes, everyone. Please, he's offering a free 15-minute consult. Just say that you were part of, that you were listening to him on my show, and that is his gift to us. And please, if you are curious, I'd have the conversation with him. You never know until you explore. Become curious, and the things you learn could be just what you're looking for, right? The universe does deliver to us time and place. So maybe Joshua is the time and place for you. If you are interested, he has everything on his website. He already mentioned it's joshuatberglan.com. Again, I will put that in the show notes. My friend, thank you so much for being on. Just love spending time with you. I'm always energized after. We always have a little bit of fun and some laughs. Gotta laugh, man. We gotta laugh because life is hard enough at times. We got to ride the wave of this happy good, right, with people that we love. So thank you so much for just doing that for me and for my listeners as well.
It's my pleasure. For 100%.
I love you, my friend. Don't go yet. All right. And I hope you will join me weekly as we question, build, and discover together, no matter where you are on your journey of change. I truly hope between my guests and I, the stories we shared, mine about COVID, Joshua about his backgrounds, right, in prison and stuff like that. We aren't who we were, but we needed to do that to be where we are and who we are today. So I truly hope that the show inspires you to make those changes, lean into change in a good way, because with change comes opportunity. Please take the information, ideas, and strategies. Utilize my guests going forward. That is my passion for the show. You have the power to change your life, and I truly hope that this show can be an inspiration for that. Thank you for tuning in to to eliminating oh my God, what show am I creating today? Thank you for tuning in to Enlightenment of Change. I have too many shows. Enlightenment of Change with me, your host, Connie Whitman, on webtalkradio.com. Again, have a wonderful, inspired week. Please try something differently, and feel free to email me your results or your passions or things that you're working on. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again, Joshua. Thank you. Have a great week, guys. Love you all. See you next week.